So we'll just give it about 5 minutes for attendees to join in, and then we will begin.
You can start, Oga.
Okay, all right. Okay. So good morning, everyone. Apologies for kicking off a little bit late. My name is Adan Jamaze. I'm a public relations consultant, and I will be moderating on this session. We will be speaking about growing your e-commerce business. E-commerce business is such a popular way of utilizing your business and acquiring more growth and even more customers. And today I will be speaking to 5 top industry leaders who will be talking to us about how you can grow your business. So without wasting so much time, I will be kicking off with Dr. Obianuju Violent Abdukar. She is the founder and managing director of TimeTel Nigeria Limited, a certified woman-owned enterprise, and owner of Afrocentric, ethical and sustainable clothing line called AfriConcept. She has been an entrepreneur for over 15 years with strategic project management skills. She currently serves as a non-executive director on the board of Nigeria American Chamber of Commerce, and has a doctorate degree in business administration from Swiss School of Business and Management, Geneva. She also has an MBA in business management from Lagos Business School, Pan Atlantic University. And she was recently appointed as the chairperson, International Trade Council Nigeria. Dr. Obianuju, the floor is yours. You have 10 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to, okay. So good morning, everyone. And thank you for that interesting introduction. We're talking about growing our e-commerce businesses. But for me, I believe that it's important for us to know how to even go the path of having an e-commerce business before talking about how to grow it, So starting with the basics of letting everyone know what an e-commerce business is and the different types of e-commerce platforms that you can engage in to do business. So basically, the e-commerce business is simply buyers and sellers exchanging goods and services with consumers over the internet. And there are different types of e-commerce. You have the B2B, which involves integrating chain suppliers and customer base. You have the B2C, like the online shopping, for online shopping, where is the business direct to customers. You have the C2C, where you have customer-to-customer interaction under the retailing website, something like the OLX platform, and I think Jiggy too. And then you have the C2B, which is customer to business, which an example is like the crowdsourcing. And there are key considerations for any business person who wants to sell on the internet or get involved in e-commerce service. And you have to decide what channels you want to work with. There are various channels, either your own website or using online marketplaces or social commerce. And you have also to do some level of market survey. You need to know who are these customers that you're targeting, what are their demographics, where are they located, and all that. Once you are able to do that, that will give you, and then there are tools you can use to do that by, to do the market research by web searches, online questionnaires, Google Forms, and all that, to have an insight on exactly what the customer wants. So that will help you to channel your marketing strategy and help it translate to immediate sales. And you also need to put into consideration logistics and fulfillment, because it's not enough to have presence online and then if you do not do the right things, you're just going to be there and you're going to keep having myriads of problems. So one critical factor to the success of e-commerce business is having a proper inventory management and logistics partner. So those are part of the considerations you have to put in place before going online to sell. The next thing is the payment options. You need to decide what payment option can give you more accessibility, in the sense that you're not limited by location. So you need to integrate a payment gateway that is more or less universal, so that as people know about your business and all that, they're able to seamlessly make orders for your products or services. And then you need to put customer service into consideration. How do you intend to manage your customers? So you need to have a customer relationship management system in place, or you can outsource to a third partner who takes care of that. But it's important that you put all this into consideration. And then the last thing is your marketing strategy. Once you have every other thing in place, then you need to define your strategy of how you want to reach your target audience that will enable them make purchases. And this you need to do by deciding the marketing mix that can work for you. And like I said earlier, there are different channels. So once you have put all these into place, then you need to decide, are you going to own your own website? Are you going on the online marketplace like the Etsy's, the Amazon, the Jumia's, the Kongas, or do you want to do social commerce using your social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, and all that as your shop? So it is important to decide the channel that works for you, because it's not all channels that works for every product or service. So you need to be able to tell what can work for your business. And then for each of these channels, there are pros and cons. And for selling on your website, the advantages are total control of how visitors see your products and services, total control of customer service, control of most of your costs, and then easy integration with your existing system. Like you can integrate your inventory management software along with your e-commerce site, so that there's an easy flow of inventory, and you have knowledge of when your stocks are running down and all that. And then you have better and precise data insight for future sales forecasting, because like now most websites have analytics that give the website owner insights into who is visiting, how long do they spend, and all that. So once you're able to have all this data, it helps you to better improve your business. And then the cons are that it's time consuming, especially in B2B e-commerce. It's expensive to build and maintain a website, and there's a high marketing cost to create visibility, because even if you have the best of websites and you're not creating visibility around it, nobody's going to know that you're there. And there's also vulnerability to fraud and data privacy issues. So in setting up, if you decide to go the route of having your personal website, then you need to have all this at the back of your mind, the risk that you face and the advantages, and then you see how to play everything to your own benefit. Now, there are tips for also selling on an e-commerce site. First, you have to ensure that your website can process multiple currencies. I know most businesses in Nigeria have a challenge with payments, because most times they're either using a Paystack or a Flutterwave, but sometimes there are limitations to how you can process your payments with these channels. And then you need to use the payment gateway that will enable multiple currencies and also accessible to more global audience. So those are part of the things that can make your e-commerce website very successful. Then you consider the cost and margins carefully to ensure profitability. Because everybody is going online doesn't mean that you have to be there. You need to really be sure that the investment you'll be making, that you have return on that investment and you're going to run profitably. So you need to do a cost benefit analysis before choosing to own your own website. If, on the other hand, what pays you better is being on a marketplace, by all means, please do that. So don't just go with the trend, but be realistic on what works for the kind of product or service that you provide. Then you also need to decide if you will cater for international customers with a payment option that is universal. I already mentioned that before. You make sure your website has good quality content, such as detailed product description, product or service description, and a strong brand story. Because the truth is, at this time, people buy more of your story than your products. So you need to be able to tell your brand story. You need to be able to take people on a journey. When they come to your website, you should take them on a journey, buy into their emotions that will enable that translate into sales and loyalty at the end of the day. And then you need to ensure your website has all regulatory information, such as the terms and conditions, privacy and return policy. So you must ensure that all these are in place to enable you maximize the use and benefit of your e-commerce website. There are also now, if that what I've just said earlier is all about owning your own website. So now I'm coming down to working with the channel of marketplaces. The pros are steady stream of customers, low barrier to entry or relatively low startup cost, a possibility to test products and markets at a low cost, and existing brand can generate a lot of sales. Those are part of the advantages of using a marketplace. It also has its own cons, which are high competition. For example, on Amazon, for you to go on Amazon, you need to be ready to spend a lot of money on marketing to drive traffic and create visibility for your products. So you need to weigh the fact to be sure that that investment is worth it. Like I always advise most entrepreneurs, I always tell them, I believe in organic growth. Everybody wants to be on Amazon, but Amazon might not just be the right fit for your business at this point in time. So it's important to put those things into consideration. Need for brand positioning for differentiation. You need to position your brand, because whatever you're selling on all those marketplaces, there are 1,001 people selling the same thing. So what will differentiate you from the other people selling the same product? Then working by commission creates low margin, because when you're on those marketplaces, some of them take commissions. There's also a monthly payment and all that you do. So you need to really sit down and do a proper evaluation to see what can work for you. And there's relative effort in managing inventory, pricing, orders, and inquiries. So you put in a lot of effort into managing the inventory and ensuring your price is competitive and all that. So those are some of the things that has to do with being in an online marketplace. And I'm also giving tips for you to sell on online marketplaces. First, before starting, you have to consider cost and margin carefully to ensure profitability, because there are, apart from just uploading your product and setting up a storefront, there are other costs that come along with being on that platform. So you need to be well educated on all the costs involved, so that you can put that into consideration in the pricing of your product. So you don't just go uploading your product, and then when you make sales, you now realize you have to pay this, you have to pay that, and at the end of the day, you find out you're running at a loss. Then you select a balanced portfolio by having good products or service mix to sell well on a marketplace and ensure listing in more than one marketplace. It's always advisable, to have your product in more than one marketplace, so that if one is not working, the other will be working for you. And also you need to go for the one that the condition and their terms and conditions best suits your kind of business. You check the registration requirements and payment methods, as there may be restrictions that may affect your business. So you need to, apart from just being there, you need to understand their registration requirement, and also you need to understand how the payment works, so you know if it's something that can work for you. Then confirm that you can conform with the marketplace requirements. You need to know what their requirements are, their terms of service and all that, and see if that really works for you. And make sure you have excellent product or service description and photos. You cannot overemphasize that, because you are not there to talk about your product. So whatever information you put there is what is selling your product. So it's very important that your product has very good photographs and also well described and all that, so that people can take informed decisions within a very short time of coming in contact with your storefront. So I'll be rounding up by also giving the tips on how, having set up this and made the right decision, you now need to know how you can grow your e-commerce business. And one of the things you can do is niche marketing. Even if you have 50 products, it does not mean you have to put all those products on your website or on the online marketplace you want to go. You need to define your niche. Like there are people who are more affiliated to sustainable products or green products and all that. So you need to carve out a niche and play within that niche, so that your communication, your packaging and everything aligns with that niche, and that helps you to build loyalty and returning customers. You can also consider affiliate marketing, where you use people who have a kind of influence in that market to sell your product at an agreed commission. Then encourage repeat business, e.g. make your business to be a subscription business in a way that you have loyal customers who keep coming back for either the same product or an improved version of the product. You should also offer complementary products, so that if you're selling a product, you can add a complementary product to that product, that people who use the main products that you're selling will also have a need for that complementary product. That helps also to boost sales and also win customer loyalty. You can also work with influencers, and then you should be able to ship globally. That's why when I was starting, I mentioned that it is important to take care of your logistics. Make sure you have a credible logistics partner that can handle your shipping globally, because being online means that anybody in any part of the world can have access to your products and your business information. Therefore, you should put processes in place to be able to deliver your products to them without any hitches. And then finally, you should offer diverse payment methods. There are so many payment methods that you can use, and there are some that people are more comfortable with. So you should be able to do your research to know what works best for your class of customers and from whatever location they are. So you should not limit yourself by using just one payment channel, but you should have at least 2 to 3 payment options on your website or on your marketplace to be able to play successfully globally. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Obianuju. That was really, really insightful. Thank you so much. We're moving to Sami Badegasi. Sorry, Sami, I've finished your name. I'm so sorry. Sami is the founder and CEO of My Center Office, a technology company that offers a subscription-based CMR solution to help businesses grow. He is a customer experience expert, consulting for organizations of various sizes and delivering customer experience trainings to strengthen their competitive advantage. Somi, the floor is yours. You have 10 minutes.
Cool. Thanks, Ada, and I'll do my best to keep it in the time, I promise. First of all, thanks to the previous speaker. Honestly, Doctor, that was like amazing. Very good intro as well. I brought my brown book and I was going to take a lot of notes. So trust me, I really enjoyed that session. So just a few things to share. I'm sure everyone who's joining today wants to know how to grow their e-commerce business. Big topic. And when we talk about e-commerce, of course, it applies to anybody that is selling online. So regardless of what channel, what platform, once you're selling online, you know that you have a desire to make this business work. You want to grow. Whether you're a product seller or a service-based business, your business is not a museum. You don't want to wake up every day and you're seeing the same stock you saw yesterday. Or you don't want to be a service-based business where you're wondering who's going to send you the next inquiry. So how can we get this your e-commerce business to grow? These are what I'm going to be sharing today. So just a few things, and I'm going to focus more on kind of fundamentals because I don't want to keep it deep. I want it to be things that you can immediately get, immediately start to think about, immediately things that you can start to apply in your businesses. And I'll try and use as many examples as possible. So the first one is, and I'm sure you've heard this before, you need to have a strong online presence. Okay. You probably have heard branding and all that. And to be honest, when people think of branding and presence, online presence, we tend to focus more on what people see, the websites, the logo, but it's actually a lot about what people actually don't see as well. Like I'll give you an example. You can have a website, okay, online, and people don't even find it, honestly. It can actually be that bad. And that's one of the struggles that a lot of businesses face. So what should you do to make sure that people can even find your business? I mean, if you're a brand that people know, people will go online and look for it. But what if you're not a brand that people know? Chances are that you want them to be able to find your brand because they typed or they looked for a certain type of product or service or something that defines what you offer. And this is why the whole topic of things like search engine optimization, and it's another big term, sounds important. All I'm trying to say here is don't assume that because you've seen a button online that says click here to create a free website, or because you can create one for yourself, it means that your e-commerce will work. You might need to actually get a professional to help you do the background work to make sure that your business is in a place where it can be found by people online as well. Because ultimately you want to generate traffic. You want people to come to that website. The other thing I'm going to mention as well, which is something that I have actually expressed in my own business, is Google My Business. So you can actually create a free business profile on Google My Business, which helps you to add a description of what you do, photos. You can start calling reviews online. And what that means is that people can find you easier. All I'm saying is you are on that ladder of trying to make sure that people can find you. So think about how you create that strong presence. Fine, you've done the logo, fine, you've done the website, but all these things as well are things that you should consider as well. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is delivering excellence, guys. A lot of customers will buy from you or will keep buying from you, not just because of the products, but because of how you've treated them. There are a lot of vendors, there are a lot of product sellers, there are a lot of businesses online that people don't like to buy from because it's either you responded slow or the information was not clear enough or you disappointed them. Excellence is so important these days that even that customer service, customer experience is actually now used as a unique selling proposition to differentiate you from another business, because anybody can copy what you sell. Anybody can copy what you make. Anybody can copy your services, whether you're an event planner or you sell shoes, anybody can make those things. But how you treat your customers can be different. So choose what you want that experience to be. When people come online or come to my platform, how do I want them to experience my brand? Because when they remember that, they'll tell other people about it, and it means that more people will come and buy from you as well. So think about that excellence. While I'm talking about that as well, I'll give you something that happened in my business once. So we have an online CRM solution. Anybody online can sign up and manage their business seamlessly. But guess what? We had Stripe as our payment provider. But as soon as we started getting customers from a part of Africa, they were having a lot of payments problems because their cards or their bank was not allowing payments to Stripe at that point. If we didn't identify that demographic, we wouldn't have realized that we needed to integrate Flutterwave or Paystack to handle customers from that traffic. All I'm saying is think about the customer experience. Think about your customer segments. You might have to have different pages from different parts of the world. This is why you find that if you visit a website like even Amazon, you notice that depending on what part of the world you are, a specific web page might load. If you're in the US, the UK one is not going to load. And if you're in UK, by default, the US one is not going to load. You know, it's all about making sure that they provide that excellent customer journey for you. The other thing I was going to mention as well is allowing data to drive your business. Now you have started selling, and it doesn't matter if you sold one product or you've sold 5 items. The point is, if you pay attention to the data, even those transactions, you can start to see the time people bought, the day people are buying, where your peaks are, where you're not having peaks, the seasons, you know, the currencies, the payment methods, and that should start to give you an idea of where traffic is coming from. Data is gold. Data is the currency of this digital age. So pay attention to every data. I mean, you are collecting data, whether you realize, whether you've realized it or not. But my point is, let that data give you insights that you can use to grow your business. Don't just be blind and just be running business randomly. Use the data to help you identify, okay, what products should I be selling more? Okay, at what time should I be promoting products and services? What countries are people buying from so that I can target more people from those areas? And you find that you might be able to even get more sales from there. The fourth thing I wrote down is personalization. Guys, let me give you one insight. You see Amazon, they're one of the kings of e-commerce. Do you know that Amazon actually makes, their revenue is about 1 billion every day? Just think about that amount. Don't get intimidated here. It's even the fundamentals I want to prove here. But if they're making 1 billion a day, do you know that 30% of that amount comes from product recommendations and cross-selling? Let me explain what that is. So if, for example, someone is buying a shirt, okay, cross-selling means that you are offering something that is complementary to that shirt. So like a trouser or a shoe. So what Amazon does that based on what you're adding to your basket or some of the things you are buying, they start to recommend things at the bottom. Oh, Ada would like this as well. Because you've bought that, buy this. Oh, other customers are also buying this because they bought that. All they are doing at the end of the day is treating you like they know what exactly you need. And do you know what's going to happen? You went to that Amazon website with a mindset or with a plan to spend $20 and you ended up spending $100. That's how customers are caught. It's all about that personalization. It's all about that cross-selling. So think about how you cross-sell and offer additional products that are complementary to what you sell. Now, one thing a lot of people don't realize is that cross-selling doesn't just include selling and that products. It's even, you can also cross-sell information as well. So if, for example, someone has bought a shirt or a wig or whatever it is, you can cross-sell a free hair care, whatever thing that they can download and read, you know, that tells them this is how you can manage your wig so that it lasts longer. I'm just giving an example there. The point I'm trying to make is that when you take that extra step, you are showing your customer that you are the expert so that they can come back to you for more. So think about how you hold your customers, how you lock them in so that they do not go elsewhere. After sale opportunities is another point. Guys, because the customer has bought from you doesn't mean you should say bye-bye and move on to the next one. Keep talking to your customers. Thank you notes, telling them about how they can use your services in future, etc. makes a difference. Just 3 other points and I'm going to stop. I'm not going to go too much into loyalty, but it is beneficial for you to consider a loyalty program to make your customers want to come back from you. One very important thing I was going to mention, and it's probably one of the first things you should do, but I'll mention this last, is you talk about growing a business. Okay, when I consult for businesses, one question I ask is, you said you want to grow your business. What's your goal? What's your target? And they have no clue. Your e-commerce business, you need to set goals and objectives. I want to make £500,000. I want to make 100,000 naira this week. I want to make 60,000 pounds in the next 3 months. You need to set those objectives, break it down into actionable steps. This is how I can make this month. This is how much we're going to make this week, and set goals on how you can achieve that. So those are all the points I'll share. I really wish all of us a lot of success in our e-commerce businesses. And I really hope that some of these points I've shared will be able to add value in your growth in businesses. So over to you, Ada. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Sami Badagasin. So I just wanted to put out this information. If you have any questions for the speakers, you can start putting them in the Q&A. We have a Q&A box. Just tap it out, tap your screen, and then you see the Q&A box so that the speakers can start answering that. Thank you so much, Sami. That was really, 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 really insightful. We're moving next to Victor Eze. Victor Eze, he started his career as an engineer before moving into international trade, and since then has launched several successful products in Nigerian markets. He is currently the founder and CEO of a technology startup, Kylo, with major interest in e-commerce and logistics. He is also a business developer and a strategy expert. Mr. Victor, the floor is yours. You have 10 minutes.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So today I would like to talk about something which is of interest to me particularly, and I feel like it's one of the building blocks of e-commerce, right? So I want to talk about buyer's persona and the buyer's journey, right? So based on the topic of this gathering, says how to grow your e-commerce. So my assumption is that, okay, here we have people who've already started the journey, right? And somehow they want to kind of get more value out of the business, out of what they're doing. So I felt like, okay, maybe we should revisit one or two things which would make a whole lot of difference, you know, in the business. So buyer's persona, what is buyer's persona? Buyer's persona is simply like a description of your ideal customer, right? If you don't know or understand someone, you cannot be able to approach them and to sell something to them, right? So it is quite important that you are able to make this mental representation of who you are targeting and what exactly you want to get across to this person in a way that he or she is going to welcome it, right? So that is why buyer's persona is quite an important ingredient when it comes to e-commerce. And speaking of e-commerce, I mean, it does not matter as long as you are actually selling any form of goods or services on the internet. It must not necessarily be products, be services, you know, anything at all it is. You definitely have to understand your audience, your target audience. You have to understand them. So now, let's make a case scenario here. This is Mary, right? We can see her background. Her background is marketing department. She manages a marketing department with 3 to 5 employees. She's married with children, you know, been in that role for 5 years. You can see the identifiers. Also her goals, challenges, demography, very important, right? She's within this certain age bracket, income is within this bracket, you know, you can see her life, her spending online, you know, where does she really spend her time? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it YouTube? You come across people who tell you, hey, I'm never a Twitter person. For instance, myself, I'm never on Twitter, right? So if you are targeting me on Twitter, then you're just wasting your time, right? You can see the favorite brands, you know, the favorite websites and all this. I mean, some of us might be asking the question, okay, how do I even get to know these things? There are ways you can actually find out some of these things. So one of such way is if you leverage your existing data. Like I mentioned, I assume that most of us actually have already started the journey of, you know, being in the e-commerce space, right? So whatever, no matter how small you're doing it, in the process of running this business, you're actually acquiring some data. Like my colleague just said now, what time are these people coming online? What day exactly? You know, what are they saying? What conversations are they engaging? Stuff like that can help you fill up. You must not necessarily have everything, but at least you have some of the basic information that can keep you informed, right? And that way you can be able to tailor contents which you are putting in the face of these your target customers. Another way also is through market research. I mean, you can actually send out questionnaires, right? You can send out questionnaires. You can also, you know, leverage social media in doing this. For instance, you have LinkedIn, you can ask LinkedIn, okay, can you give me a list of people who are into marketing, for instance? Can you give me a list of people who work so and so place or who are in Nigeria, one thing or the other? So you can also leverage social media. You can, you know, do a questionnaire to get some of this information you need, right? So another way also is like there are platforms also that offer this as a service, platforms such as user testing. These platforms they also come handy, to provide you some of these informations that you need about your target audience. Now, a user persona, this is like a visual description of, what your different audience looks like. Could be Hispanic, could be Caucasian, could be a Black, could be anybody, right? But you need to know who exactly are they. And this is, how you approach them is majorly a factor of what exactly do you have to sell? What is my end goal, right? Who is this product suitable for? I cannot be trying to sell something like a Rolls Royce and I'm targeting people who barely can earn 6 figures at the end of the month. It doesn't even make any sense. So you need to make a mental image of what am I selling? Where are they even? Are they even online? Are they offline? So that we say e-commerce does not necessarily mean it all starts and happens electronically. Sometimes there's a bit of it that is even taken offline, depending on the end result. So something can actually start on the internet and end up in a physical store somewhere, right? So now, the nature of the business also kind of informs how you go about this. Whether you're B2B, your end goal could probably be trying to get your trying to get your online leads, and connecting them to salesperson directly, who are going to do the conversion or something for you. It could be a B2C, right? So in the case of B2C, your aim might be to, okay, how can I get these people to a website, a well-optimized website actually, or a landing page or a social media page. I'll give you an instance. For instance, our social media audience, most of the time, we don't want to send them to the website. In fact, we don't want customers spending too long getting to the end destination, right? We kind of, okay, is the aim for sales? All right, let's put these guys on DM, okay? Is the aim for you to gradually harness or get these guys to believe, like the product? So depending on what you're trying to achieve, you should know exactly where you're sending them to. But whatever it is, make sure it's well optimized, because if they go there and they're not impressed or they're not giving their attention, they're going to leave, right? So now, let's look at the buyer's journey. So the buyer's journey, you first have the awareness stage, right? Let's say someone come across your ads for the first time. Okay, person might not necessarily pay attention. Again, it happens. Again, he sees it. You are creating the awareness. So maybe you were able to put up a certain product that is of interest to that buyer, or that looks fancy, or he or she feels like, okay, I think this actually makes sense. They will take note of your brand name, right? That is awareness. You've created awareness. And now consideration stage, there comes a time when that particular item that guy has seen sometime becomes important to him. He or she begins to consider. In fact, they will check what you have to offer. They will also check what other people, because you're not the only one in the business. So many other persons are trying to get the attention of the same group of people, right? So in that case, they are considering, okay, what's this person's price and the likes of it, before now comes to the decision stage, where the person now decides, you know what, okay, I'm going to go with Mr. A or Mr. B or platform A or platform B, something like that. So that is what, like, in quotes, what a buyer's journey actually looks like. And this takes us to this loop. It forms you a loop, right? You as a business, your aim is to what? To attract users, to attract your, quote unquote, the personas that you have defined that should be of interest to your business. Because right now, ads is quite expensive. It's getting more and more expensive, especially for us in this part of the world. We got no data. Most of the data we are buying in, in a foreign currency. And these foreign currencies are very, very expensive at the moment. So you don't have money to waste around. You actually have to manage your budget. Any amount you have to manage it. So you don't want to throw it around, targeting people who end up not being converted. So you want to attract, and then you want to engage. And then when you've engaged, At that decision level, you delight them. So at the end of the day, if someone have tried, okay, let me give these guys a try. If the person tries your services and is not impressed, you've lost that customer, right? But given the opportunity to sell your product or services to that person, if you can't delight that person, you have ended up getting a loyal customer, and they will continue to come back to buy from you, right? So you have to make sure that you are adequately directing this your audience of your chosen channel, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, anywhere it is at all, to the best platform that suits them. This is very important. Now, so in my own case, it's my website, right? Where I try to take these guys on a journey, gradually marketing, and then getting them to become loyal customers. Now, lead nurturing. Of course, leads, you can generate a lot of leads, thousands of it in a day, right? But the whole idea is, or the optimal thing to do is for you to gradually build relationship with these your prospects. Don't be in a haste. It must not happen today. It might not even happen in a month or 6 months or even a year, but someday it's going to start happening. I mean, I don't know if you've come across any of these aggressive marketers that he will come to you and say, I don't want. He will still come back again. You will say, I don't want. You keep saying, I don't want. That guy will keep coming. Even when you are trying to be very annoying and cool, the person will keep smiling and coming back. Trust me, someday is going to penetrate. It's going to penetrate your shield, and you're going to get you to start buying, patronizing that business, right? So now, like I mentioned, you're targeting contents according to the characteristics of that person, which is that buyer's persona, right? And how that close also, that individual is close to making a purchase. You cannot ignore this fact unless you want to keep wasting your money, right? So you have to, okay, based on what you know about this audience, what should I tell them? What do they want to hear? What products are they looking for? So you have to target based on that, and also based on how close is this person to making a purchase from you, because at the end of the day, that's what you want. You need money to run a business. You need to keep a cash flow. Cash, they say, is king, right? So now understanding your personas will make it much easier for you to delight customers. Like I've already mentioned, if I know what you want, where you are, what topics interest you, I would know exactly how to delight you. If probably I've heard you complain about so and so services this person have offered to you, they did this wrong or that wrong. If I know you are somebody who wants to get your item same day you ordered it, now I begin to look at possibilities there. All those decisions would help shape my business, right, into improving, right? So now let's talk about the marketing and sales funnel. I mean, you can call it whatever, the user journey funnel, but it all follows the same sequence. And literally looking at the shape of it, you can see the upper part is quite big and wide. The lower part, gets thin as the thing goes further, right? So it's just the same mental image you make of it. Of course, you're going to have 1,000 persons trooping in a day, but at the end of the day, probably just about 30% moves on to the next stage. And so it continues sequentially until you're able to achieve what sales. So first, you have prospects. These are people who have seen your social media advertisements, and somehow they've clicked on the link you've sent there, entered your site, just perused, and the likes of it. Then you have the leads, right? So this person already have signed up for your, let's say maybe you put out a certain, okay, do you want to be getting my newsletters and the likes of it on this and so topic, right? The person signs up and say, yeah, I'm interested. These are your leads, right? So you now move to a marketing qualified lead. Do you understand? These are users that have gone that extra step further, in making certain inquiries, showing their interest, So when that happens, it moves to the next level. That's from that initial marketing qualified leads, you move to the sales qualified leads. These are guys who are much eager to be sold to. This is where you begin to engage your sales personnel, right? Because all this while, what you've been doing is simply trying to market. But the moment you skip that marketing part to the next level, that comes in sales. So your sales team will now take it up, of course, making all possible offerings. Okay, we have this, we have that. This should be well suitable for you and the likes of it. And then comes the opportunity. So the salesperson have, of course, engaged this group of people. They're almost at the stage of signing up a deal, right? So that's the opportunity. And after this opportunity, of course, comes the last and the most important to every business, which is customers, loyal customers. At the end of the day, your end goal is to make these guys a customer. And it is very important that you take them through this journey, because this is how you build loyal customers. Loyal customers are people who would not just buy from you once, but they would also be the one now preaching to other people. Hey, try these guys. They are good, right? So, and like you can see, the funnel is divided into two. You have the marketing at the upper part of it, and then you have the sales. So what mistakes most businesses make is that they feel they mistake these two things, right? So somebody, you see a boss probably giving a target, hey, you must make so and so number of sales today. That is not proper. You have to look through okay, at what stage are these customers? You cannot just get someone today to make inquiries and you are closing the deal immediately. Well, if it happens, I mean, people are different customers. Some customers take time, while some customers do not take time. So the moment they see what they have, they make the decision, they are buying it. Why some customers themselves would want you to keep repeating the same thing. You will put price on your social media post, and somebody will still come and ask you, how much is it? This and that, that and that. Before you know it, okay, on DM, they will ask and ask. The next day, they will come back, ask again. The same things you've said already. So showing you how difficult it is for you to convince them. So, but you have to market. Okay? So now, doing all this, after doing all these things, I mean, the Japanese, they have a saying, they say, Kaizen. And Kaizen means continuous improvement, right? How can you improve when you are not even able to measure and to track performance? So while you are doing all these things, you have to keep measuring and tracking as many interactions you're having with your customers as possible, right? So this, both qualitative and quantitative data are very important for your business. So if you're in the business of e-commerce and you are not in any way tracking your customers or your services, how you're performing, you cannot be able to improve. What are the customers' complaints? You have to know these things, because it's going to help you understand your customers better and to serve them better, right? So, and of course, lastly, I'm going to say, set SMART goals. What are SMART goals? These are goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Let's not be giving ourselves on, like, should I say, goals that does not even make any sense, right? It's not the magic. This is internet. And of course, one of the biggest challenges we have in Nigeria is trust, right? So for you to build trust, it's going to take you some time. So when you're setting goals, set SMART goals. And remember, they say that a goal without a plan is just a wish. So thank you, everyone. And thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you so much. That was really, really insightful. To some of the attendees who are just joining, you are welcome to the Business Days SME Clinic. We are discussing how to grow your e-commerce business. And we have top business leaders here who are going to be guiding us and sharing tips on how to grow your e-commerce business. So far, we've had 3 speakers, and we are moving to Mr. Olanrewaju Derimawa, who is the Director, Fulfillment and Warehousing, Jumia Nigeria. Mr. Olanrewaju, the floor is yours. You have 10 minutes. So we're going to try to make sure that we try to be as fast as possible, so that we can not waste the time of our speakers and our attendees. So Mr. Olanrewaju, the floor is yours, please. We can't hear you. Please unmute your mic. We still can't hear you, Mr. Olanrewaju. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. So my name is Olariwaju Daramewa. So I'll actually be taking you on, mine will be as short as possible. So mine will be based on visibility. So it's, I have actually seen it work, and also within the sphere of when visibility works. So I'm actually speaking to visibility on the face of the customer and also on the face of the vendor who is the seller. So visibility on the face of the customer is the, it starts with how does the product look? So it means the platform. How does the product look? So it is the looks and probably the looks of the products that would make me want to order for your item. That's the first step. Then next step is the customer care person that speaks to the customer. So that is also the visibility on the side of the customer. So what type of conversations is the customer service person having with the customer? So then the last step for the customer is the delivery associates that is actually going to deliver the item to the customer. This part is also extremely very important because that is the number one facing person with the customer, and the outcome at that level would dictate if the customer will come back for another product or another service. Yes. So the next step is for the vendor, which is the seller. The seller, the first point of visibility that he needs is to know what type of customers are getting my products, what type of customers would like to buy my products, and I would need a platform for that. Next is what type of products do I have to offer, and so I know the customer, I know the kind of product I would actually like to offer. Then next is the next visibility is how well can I get my products when it is needed. And the final one is the feedback from the customer of the products that the customer got. Yeah. So first, so I will actually start with the marketing part. The marketing part is where the vendor, which is the seller, puts up his or her item up for sale. Like, so the first step is the platform. What type of platform are you actually using? Are you using the free ones or the ones in which are not so expensive but you need to pay for? So those are the two pathways. So for the free ones, you know that you need to monitor the process from end to end. But for the ones that you will need to pay for, like some companies that are big now, yes. So for those particular ones, they would already give you some apps, some softwares to work with, even from when you want to upload your pictures, and also they would even call you over to have some conversation with you on the type of item you want to sell. They want to verify that the items are right, authentic, original, because of your customers needs to get the right item. So that is for that. That is for when you would want to pay for that service. So it's an end-to-end service in which you would come in, you bring your item in, they will do all the service from, so they will store for you, they will upload on the site for you, they would create a platform in which a customer can place an order for you, then they will also deliver for you from end to end, and the payments too will be handled by them. All what you will get is just is actually the revenue of the item, is revenue of the item sold. With these, they are actually going to give you a platform, like a software that shows you visibility on who your customers are, when those items were bought, or they can even give you when your items were clicked. Like they will actually share with you the data on how many people clicked on your item and did not buy, and also give you the data on when they clicked and bought. So with that data, I'm actually pretty sure you will know what the next steps are for you. So you will know what to buy next. You will know what to push more for. You know what to reduce in quantity for that particular platform. That is when it is being handled by someone else. So for that particular platform, you have full visibility of your business from end to end without doing anything. All what you just need to do is pay for the service. That is it. So for platforms where you would handle, so now you need to handle firstly the platform where the customers come in and they can reach you directly. You will know those platform. So now, so it actually starts from that platform, then the customers trying to reach you. So you will actually need to become a customer service person in which you tell them about what you are selling and how good what you're selling is. So next step is when they decide to pick your products, when they decide to buy your products, the next step is the delivery. The delivery part is like your most important part. It is extremely important that the delivery company you use, or if you are currently or if you have a delivery agent on your own, it's important that you have a delivery app. But I would actually prefer you use a third party for your deliveries, because it's actually very important. It saves you a lot of stress. It saves you a lot of DA issues. It saves you a lot, because I can factually say that. So for the delivery part, the delivery app helps you to trace your item from when it is picked up to when it is delivered, and also the liability of items going missing will not be on you. It will be on the third party. So it is very safe. I would implore you to actually use that, because I have friends that are into this and they currently use the delivery app. So which is very good. So number one, you also need to have your delivery person needs to be very sound, needs to look smart, because that is the face of your business. That is the physical face of your business. So it's also very important that you get the feedback from the customers. Because you are a small business, I would prefer you make calls. You actually make calls to your customers and ask them about the delivery person. It's actually very important. It is from here you will know if you would need to change your delivery person, because that is your front-facing person. That is actually your front-facing person. That's actually very, very important for your business. So there are cases in which the product might not be totally what the customer wants, but if your delivery person is exactly, if he's actually a smart person, and if he looks sharp, and if he's actually able to speak well, you'll be amazed that he would be able to even make sales for you. So that is actually very good for you in your business. That part will be covered. Then the next part I would like to speak on is inventory management. Inventory management, even though people think that that is a very small part of the business, it is a very big part of the business. Sincerely, it's a very big part of the business, because number one, you take space, and space means money. Number two, your turnaround time must actually be must actually be very fast, which actually means that your sales, you must know the right item to stock per time. Your order level must also be accurate, because space, you can't just dump every item in your warehouse space or your shop space because you feel that you might make sales in 6 months time, in 7 months time. It's actually impossible. So you need an inventory management tool that will help you check what item you need in your inventory as at what time. That is a very fundamental part of the business. This is what will steer your business into higher growth. So on the inventory part, it's also important you manage out of stock. That is why it is actually very important that you update your platform as at when due. Like, you daily check what you have versus what you have in stock, and you kill stocks that you no longer have. It is because trust is a very serious thing. in this business. Like for the big businesses and platforms that we have now, it's automated. Immediately, a customer goes for the last item. Immediately, a customer goes for the last item. It goes off the site immediately. But for platforms that are free, it is not automated. It's not automated. It's manual. So it means that you would have to do it on your own. That is a very big deal that you actually need to do daily. So it's very important that a customer reaches out to you and you are not going to say that, oh, sorry, I don't have this, but this is what I have. Nobody really wants to hear that. Nobody really wants to hear that. Everybody wants to hear that the product I saw online is what you have. And also, a next point is make sure that what you've pasted or uploaded on the website is same as what you have. Don't be funny. Sincerely, do not be funny. People are people. What they see is what they want. Don't try to sell a different thing to a person that needs. So don't try to sell X to someone that needs Y. It is actually very important for the business because trust is what people are really buying. It is not the product, it is trust. If I can trust you in what you deliver to me, I will be able to come back and place another order again over and over and over again, which would enable your business to grow. So trust is extremely very important. Although for business that are handled on the free platform, it is not automated, but for the ones that you need to pay for, it's automated. So it's actually very easy on that platform. So it's important to actually deliver what was uploaded on your website. And another point for me is cancellations and retrieval. You need to open spaces for that. Like you need to be acceptable to cancellation and retrieval. So what I mean by this is if a customer decides to place an order for your item and the DA gets there and he wants to deliver, the customer should be able to say, oh, sorry, I changed my mind. Yes, I know it is very painful, but it is what makes the business grow. Sincerely, it is what makes the business grow. I have seen this happen over and over again, although there are losses in it, but the benefit of it is way, way more than the losses in it. And the second part is the retrievals. So a customer gets an item and it goes bad within a very short period of time. It's important that you are able to speak to the customer and also accept back when the item has gone bad, as long as it is not the fault of the customer. As long as it's not the fault of the customer. If it's a product issue, it's important you are open to taking it back. That's actually very important. That is where people see trust work, and it's amazing when it actually happens. Because I was in a situation where the products were sent back. So the customer called in, wants to send the products back, and there was a pushback. And there was a pushback. There were huge noises on the social media. It was everywhere. It was a very terrible experience for the company. But as of now, they are able to accept back within a stipulated point, a stipulated period of time, and state, okay, so for X days, you can still send it back. But beyond this, we're actually very sorry. We won't be able to take it back. That is one thing that we need to also have within the business. So I think I've covered some parts. And also the last point for me is I think try as much as possible as a business owner to run with cash on delivery. That is COD. COD is a point. It's a model that most business owners run from, because they feel that the customers might not buy in the long run. They might get stressed out. Okay, I've packaged all these, and the customer the DA might actually get to the customer, and the customer will say no to it, and you must have put funds into it. COD the current company I'm actually working for, COD moved the business to a different level entirely. So it shows that we trust our customers and our customers trust us. So that trust is there. So COD changed the ball game for the business. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olariwaju. Thank you so much. I can see that we already have some of our attendees, asking questions. I'll move to the final speaker for today, and he is Eze Adichie Onyeka Michael, the founder of HealthSoft Inc., a professional services company in Nigeria that provides information and technology services for big and small businesses in Nigeria. He's an entrepreneur and venture capitalist with expertise in web technology and digital marketing. He has developed and implemented digital marketing strategies for top brands in finance, tech, and telecommunications, e-commerce, government. And for all these businesses who operate in the Nigerian market, his professional experience includes key roles in Google Business, Google Women on the Web, EduBridge, Consultant, and Wild Fusion. Mr. Onyeka Michael, the floor is yours. We have 10 minutes, please.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Nice. Everything we have talked about, they're all important. However, I'm going to pay more attention to the aspect of marketing called search engine optimization, especially for e-commerce businesses. So can I share my screen?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can, please. You can go ahead.
Okay. So as a brand, there's more value when a brand finds out the searcher's intent of those that visit their website to buy products from them, especially when you are running an e-commerce business. Actually, in this class, in this webinar, I wanted to use Jumia as an example. So in e-commerce business, using some specific tools can really help Nigerian businesses to succeed online. And one of those tools are Ahref. If you can see my screen very well, though the tool is not a paid tool, it's actually a paid tool, but we have a free version of this tool. So with this tool, brands' products can actually rank on Google. Because first of all, you need to understand what people are searching for, the keyword that brought them to the website, what product they want to buy. So with this tool, we can actually do some analysis in terms of like keywords. So looking at this keyword, if that matters very well, you see we have women's shoes here. So searching for this keyword, women's shoes on this particular platform, this particular tool is giving us information about one, the keyword difficulty is 50. So that means if you have a business and you deal with e-commerce and you sell ladies' shoes, then for you to compete for this particular keyword, women's shoes, you have to overcome this particular keyword difficulty of 50. And there are some factors that play a very key role for you to rank very high on Google and for you to overcome this keyword difficulty. Because it's one thing to run advertising on Facebook, Instagram, Google, all these different media platforms. But when people want to do real business, they go on Google to search. And if you're not there, definitely nobody's going to visit your website or even buy your product. And when you look at my screen very well, you notice that this particular tool can give us breakdown on how this particular keyword is searched based on different geographical location. So like in United States, we have like 91,000, in India, 67,000, in United Kingdom, 8,700, And when you go down, you can actually check to find out questions related to this particular keyword that people are searching for. People are searching for size chart for women's shoes, Zara women's shoes based on brands, how to recognize fake Valentino shoes for women, how to style brown shoes, women, you understand? And when you look here very well, you notice that the top ranking websites that receives most of this particular traffic in Nigeria is the Jumia website. And if you look, you will notice that Jumia receives at least 1,800 traffic for this particular keyword on an average of at least 30 days. Though, as I said, there are some factors that play a very key role for you to rank very high on Google based on any particular product that you are selling or you are dealing with. And that factor for every business, whether e-commerce or banking or finance, is all about domain authority and your URL rating and backlinks and referring domain. A lot of us these days, when we say we're looking for a web developer to build a website for us. And the web developer will build a website, give to the business owner. The business owner will be happy that, oh, a website. However, the website can be there for the next 10 years and nobody's going to visit that website because the particular business owner is not doing anything about the domain authority of that website, the URL rating of that website, the number of backlinks pointing to that website, and the number of referring domain for that particular website. And this particular tool can also give us information about the keyword that particular website is ranking for. So if you look very well, you notice that this is the Jumia website. In the last 30 days, in terms of keyword ranking, we have 535,000 keywords. And in terms of the traffic that this particular keyword brought to the Jumia website is 3.2 million. You understand? And in terms of paid search, we have 99 keywords. And in terms of traffic, we have 318,000 traffic. So as a business owner running an e-commerce business, you have to pay attention to your domain authority, your URL rating. And I know most of the questions that will be in our heart is what is actually the domain authority or the URL rating. So when we talk about domain authority, we're talking about the strength of a website, how authoritative a website is in the eyes of the search engine, and also the URL too. A website built today has a domain authority of 0 over 100. And after like 5 or 10 years, with a lot of work, the website can increase in its domain authority. So right now, Jumia domain authority, according to this particular tool, is 77, while the URL rating is what? 50. So when you have a website today and your domain authority is 0, it's extremely difficult for you to rank for any keyword. You can actually rank for keywords, but what you will receive is just impressions. There's a tool that we have called that can help you to understand how many times your website, your e-commerce website showed up on Google, but without any click. And the objective is at least let your website show up on Google, then let there be a click, not impressions. Impressions do not pay the bills. You understand? So this is one of the fundamental things that brands need to pay attention to. No one is talking about that. Everyone is just talking about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. When we want to enjoy ourselves or say hi to friends and family, Facebook and celebrate that. But when we want to do real business, we go on Google. And apart from Google, we also have Google Webmaster 2. We also have Bing Webmaster 2. We also have Yandex. These 3 technology platforms play a very key role in the e-commerce industry. But a lot of businesses are not paying attention to that. And we also have another tool called SEMrush. SEMrush is also another search engine optimization tool that we can actually use to understand or analyze a particular website. So if you watch it very well, you notice this is still Jumia. The authority score for Jumia is 67 in SEMrush, on SEMrush. But when you look at the authority score of Jumia is 77. However, when you look at the organic traffic, you notice it's 3 million. Paid search, 35,000. This gives us information about this analysis of a particular website and what you need to do. So most website e-commerce businesses that just started their businesses maybe last year or this year, they have to go back and check the statistics to find out how we're performing. Because one, most web developers, I'm sorry to say about it, know nothing about search engine optimization. And it is important for an e-commerce owner to tell the developer that, look, can we implement this? Or can we do this for the website? And there's also another thing I would like to point out here, which is backlinks. If you notice here, you notice that we have backlinks of 2.7 million pointing to the Jumia website. If you look at the AHROEF website, you notice that according to the backlinks, we have 2.4 million pointing back to the Jumia website. So these are links from other websites pointing to the Jumia website. For example, you have a press release on Vanguard, on Business Day, on Punch, on Premium Times, pointing to the Jumia website. You understand? So the question now is, as an e-commerce business or as an e-commerce owner, how many backlinks are pointing to your website in the last 2 months, in the last 5 months, in the last 10 months? You understand? Because the more you have high authoritative website pointing to your website, the more stronger and authoritative you are in the sight of the search engines. So if you look very well, if I click on these backlinks right now, you will notice the list of the links pointing to the Jumia website. So this particular link is pointing to the Jumia website. It's called umidigi.com, and the domain authority of this website is 61, while the URL rating of this website is 38. And these are the different links pointing to the Jumia website. And this particular link was actually identified by this tool 2 days ago, but it was published on the 9th of August, 2022. You understand? So as an e-commerce business, you have to look at one, who is pointing to you. Have you done any press release in the past? How many platforms have you published your press releases? And I'm sorry to say it, I want to say something here before I end my lecture. When you look at press releases, especially being distributed on different platforms like Business, The Guardian, and all these platforms, sometimes these news platforms, they are very stingy. Because why I say they are very stingy is that sometimes you put some links inside your press release that you want to distribute on their platform. And some will purposely remove those links from your article, or they will just keep 1 or 2. The value you get from most of those links, the value you get from your press release is that link. Because when you publish a press release on a news website this afternoon, in the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it has been pushed down. The only way it's going to be visible is if maybe somebody search for keyword related to that particular content. So it's very important that we put all these things into consideration. And finally, keywords. Keywords. I know most of us will be very surprised. I always tell people that the foundation of marketing for every brand starts from the human heart. I know people will be answering, why am I saying the human heart? Yes, when you want to search for anything, you have thought about it in your heart. It starts from the heart before you go on Google to search for it. So immediately you thought about it, it's the intention in your heart that you are going to Google to search. And Google is bringing up the website that has information related to what is in your heart. So beyond the strategy, a lot of brands are building different strategies, but they don't know what is in people's heart that they are searching for every day. You are building a product, you don't know what people are searching for. So who are you building it for? And more importantly, majority of brands don't pay attention about the load time of their website. Most e-commerce websites, when you visit it, it takes time to load. Some fail the test. The score of their load time might be maybe 5 or 10 or 15 over 100. So we have to look at the load time of your website, especially if you are running an e-commerce business. So these are the things we need to put into consideration. We also have other tools you can actually leverage on. and that is Google Keyword Planner. It's a free tool owned by Google. And also we have Oversuggest. This is a paid tool, but these tools that I've listed here are very powerful. We also have My Site Auditor.
Miss Onyeka, we can't hear you. I think your mic is mute.
Okay, yeah. So most of this is also another tool that you can use to do an audit of your website. It's a free tool. All you need to do is to put your email address, put your website, and you get your result, and you pass it on to your developer. So with these tools, e-commerce brands can succeed perfectly well on the internet, because every day people are searching for products that they are selling. And there are also some other platforms that they can leverage on. Even if you don't have money to build your own e-commerce website, you can create an account on Flutterwave Store or Paystack Store or Spotco or Kusnap. So these platforms are very powerful too. And it's for Nigerian entrepreneurs. If you don't have money to pay a developer to build an e-commerce website for you, all you need to do is to go to these platforms and create your account. And guess what? This is a secret to Nigerian businesses. When you create an account on this platform, Flutterwave Store, Paystack Store, Kusnap, these stores, they have high domain authority that they have built all these years. So when you put your products there, the possibility of ranking very fast on Google is very high, because they're going to rely on the domain authority of the already existing website. So thank you so much, everyone, for this opportunity. I hope with this brief introduction, we were able to get a lot. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Onyeka. That was really, really interesting. I enjoyed it. I think I love the fact that your presentation was very technical. I just wanted to address something. When you mentioned about the media platforms that will take off your links, I'll speak from the point of view of public relations manager. So every media platform has its standards and its ethics. So newspapers are not going to have your links from your press releases. However, when you put your links on blogs, when you put your press releases on blogs, those links can be there. But with newspapers, if you're putting, don't forget that what you have in the newspaper is what you're going to have in the hard copy. What you have on the website is what you're going to have. It might be slightly different, but it's not, you wouldn't have the link there. But when you put it on big blogs, when you have big blogs that also have high traffic, they would have your press releases with the links out there. So thank you so much, everyone. So let's just quickly move to the Q&A. I'm going to continue with you, Mr. Onyeka. My first question is, why are keywords so important? Why is the use of keywords so important in an e-commerce business?
Yes, keywords are important because, one, when you look at a particular product, for example, if I want to buy HP Core i3 on Google, there's need for the website, the business owner that sells that computer, to have a particular page that talks about that particular product with that particular keyword. You understand? And if that particular keyword is not on the page, there's no way that particular page is going to rank high on Google, because when Google wants to give meaningful results to searchers, so there's no way you don't have this particular keyword in your article or in your content, on your product description, on your e-commerce website, and you expect to rank on Google. You can't, Google can't even show your result. You understand? So it needs to have a proper keyword research done for every product. And when you have done that keyword research for every product, then you give that particular keyword to your content writer that can now come up with a well-detailed product description about that particular product with that particular keyword. There is a tool called Keyword Everywhere. Let me share my screen just briefly. Dell Core i5 laptops. So I'm sharing my screen briefly. So if you look at my screen very well, you notice that Dell Core i5 laptop, we have these related such as intent here. These are what people are searching for related to the keyword Dell Core i5 laptop. So that means when the writer is coming up, he or she must put into consideration the word specification. So a paragraph must indicate specification, generation, the RAM size, charger, and also the price. So these can be in different paragraphs so that when Google looks at your page, they will notice that particular article solved the searcher's intent. It's all about the searcher's intent that we are fighting for as an e-commerce brand when dealing with keywords. And if you look here very well, you notice we have, these are the different keywords that people are searching for related to this globally. Dell Core i5 price in Pakistan, Dell Core i5 price Philippines in Nigeria. And if you look very well, you notice that this website, look at Jumia. Jumia is ranking here. And if you notice that Jumia said Dell laptop Core i5 available in Nigeria. And if you look at the screen very well, you notice that even Google highlighted that Jumia mentioned Dell laptop Core i5, which is the keyword in their title, in their meta description. So you have to try as much as possible to ensure that your keyword is in your title and your keyword is in your meta description. And why is Jumia here? Jumia is here because of this. If you look very well, you notice there's something here. Jumia domain authority is 74/100. So you that built a new website today, there is no way you're going to fight with Jumia to take first position on Google. And that is why they keep dominating the market.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Onyeka. Please, we'll just try to keep the questions as short and the questions and answers as short as possible because we're running out of time. My question is directed to Mr. Olariwaju and Mr. Soli. How important is inventory management in an e-commerce business? So I think Mr. Olariwaju, you take this first, and then Mr. Soli will continue from where you start. Can you hear me? Mr. Olariwaju and Mr. Sami. Okay, so
Yes,
can you take the question? Yes, please. So the question is, how important is inventory management in an e-commerce business? So,
okay.
Yes.
So I would actually like to say it is extremely very important because if you really want to scale your business, you need to manage what you want to sell. Because at the point of scale, it actually becomes very important that everything is done as of time. So you need to plan your inbound, your put away process. So when I'm saying inbound, it is when you go buy your stock and you want to bring it in. That's your inbound plan. So even before that, you even need to know what you need to inbound, like what do you need to buy. So it is the data that you must have gotten from your sales that would tell you that actually dictate to you what you need to buy more of. So with that, you actually need a tool to help you inbound into the inventory space, and you put away, you stack all your items in the right places so that when it is time for you to pick them for sales, it is easy to pick. There are shelving styles in which you can actually use to do this. There are also tools that you can use to do this, and also each item needs to have like a unique ID. Each item that you want to put in the location for picking needs to have like a unique ID, so that picking will be actually very easy. So the next step is the storage, the storage, and now the last part is the picking. So when you want to scale, it is important that all that process is seamless, so that you don't pick X for Y. Because if you are if you're into the fashion business where you sell shoes, you sell shirts, there are some differences in shirts that you might not know until when you unpack them. So that's why it is very important to know where those items are and how you label them. So the management of your inventory shows how structured you are when you get to your customer. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Sami, please.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it really short. Inventory management is really important, and I'll come from two perspectives: the customer and from revenue. So it is really important that everyone recognizes or understands that it's all about getting the right products or the right service to the right customer at the right time. Those three have to work hand in hand together to be able to build a successful business. One day later, imagine if someone has ordered a cake for a wedding and it comes a day later, or ordered a wedding dress for a wedding and it comes a day later, then it's a problem, isn't it? But at the same time, if someone has ordered something to be delivered on a certain day and you bring it a day earlier and they are not at home to receive it, it's also a problem. So when we talk about inventory, look at it from the perspective of being able to satisfy and delight the customer. If you're not able to get stock or even the right service to the customer at the right time, then it could come with a lot of disappointments, and it could impact your reputation as a business. Now, from a revenue point of view, stock doesn't just automatically appear from the supplier. There are lead times. There's a process to get it in. There's a process to get it ready. There's a process to ship it out as well. Inventory management is the only way that you can understand where stock needs to be at the right time, so that you can maximize your order fulfillment opportunities. If stock sits in your house or in a warehouse, it's bad for you, because at that point, it's not generating any money. It's occupying space. You want to ship it. You want it to keep it moving as much as possible. So those are the two angles I'm going to come from: the importance of delighting customers and satisfying them, and also from a revenue perspective as well. Over to you, Ada.
Okay, so Sami, I'm going to continue with you, please. Why is it important for businesses to understand consumer behavior?
Wow, consumer behavior. So, I mean, at the end of the day, businesses are all about serving customers. There was some research that was carried out a few years ago, and it was aimed at C-level executives and CEOs, business founders of most leading organizations. And it was this very simple survey: what is your priority? And it came down to three answers: products, pricing, and the customer experience. Guess what had the highest answer? It was all about the customer. It was all about the customer experience. It was also all about that. At the end of the day, if your business is not customer centric, you will lose opportunities because you would not understand what your customer wants, when your customer needs it, and how to continue to meet the needs of your customer. So consumer behavior gives you the insights to be able to serve your customers better and grow your business. You are not selling to yourself. You are not selling to your staff. Yes, these are important stakeholders as well, but without understanding your consumers' behavior, particularly where humans actually change. Your customers before the pandemic are different for the customers during the pandemic and after the pandemic as well. So understanding and paying attention to consumer behavior helps you to maximize opportunities to sell, but also to deliver excellence to your customers as well. Over to you, Ada.
Thank you so much. So before I move to Mr. Victor, for the attendees, if you have any questions, please you can raise your hand or you can type your question in the Q&A. For the speakers, I can see that we have some questions in the Q&A. Please answer the questions of the attendees. Also, some of the tools that have been mentioned during the course of this webinar, please, it would really, really be lovely to share some of the tools in the Q&A box or in the chat box for our attendees to take note, like Mr. Onyeka that shared some SEO tools. Please just share these tools to our attendees so that they can also take note of it. My next question is to Mr. Victor. Why is it important to collect data?
So I don't know, like from every angle, actually, data is more like it's a gold mine. You need to make informed decisions. You can't make decisions blindly, right? So data informs your decision. I think that's like the long and short of it. Data informs your decision. So if you are more informed, you can derive more value out of what you're doing. You can be able to improve. Like I said, what cannot be measured cannot be improved on. So you have to be able to measure what you're doing, what are my customers saying, how much am I able to sell, you know, at what time of the day. All these informations are very important because it's going to inform your decision. I don't know if that answers your question. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Apologies. I think my network went off for a bit. Yes, that's fantastic. To continue, Mr. Victor, why is visibility so important in the e-commerce business? Because some of the speakers, you all mentioned visibility awareness. Why is it very important in an e-commerce business? I'm hoping that when you're done, Mr. Olariwaju will also take this question as well.
Oh, okay. So why is visibility important? So let's picture the funnel, the marketing funnel, which I shared earlier. So your aim is to get as many leads as possible, right? Because that you had about 1,000 leads does not necessarily translate to having 1,000 customers at the end of the day. Like people who were able to convert, who were able to get to buy your product or your services. So now it makes it quite important for you to get as many people as possible, because down the line, they will be dropping off gradually. So the more persons or the more people get to know about you and your product or your services, the more likelihood that sometime in the future that they are going to come patronizing your services when need be. Yeah. So that's what.
Thank you.
Visibility.
Mr. Olariwaju, please. Thank you so much.
Okay. For me, visibility is the golden part of the business. It's actually the golden part of the business, because if you don't have the information you need to grow, you won't be able to grow. And also for the customer, if they don't have the information on what to buy or information on how much they can also buy from a seller or a vendor, there is no possibility of growth or scale. So visibility for me is the number one goal in the e-commerce business. Visibility is it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. So my question is to Mr. Onyeka. So are there recommended platforms that help business owners who have limited budgets when building e-commerce websites? Are there recommended platforms to use when you have very limited budget? Because there are so many tools that have been mentioned, so many things that business owners have to consider when building their website, their e-commerce website. So are there recommended websites or platforms to use when a business owner has very limited budgets?
Yes, they have. So first, we have to look at one. the platform used. I always like to come from an search engine optimization point of view. You understand? We have WordPress, which can be used, and the domain you are purchasing, and also where you hosting your website. You understand? It plays a very key role. There's a web hosting company in Nigeria. I won't mention the brand's name. Their server is very slow, and it affects the ranking of websites. And a lot of Nigerians love that hosting more than any other thing. But when you go on in terms of SEO, it affects the visibility of that site in this, on the search engines. You understand? Then also, you have to look at content, because one of the things that drives search engine optimization for e-commerce brands is content. You need to have a content strategy. If you're able to have a good content strategy, and you're able to have a mini website, and you're able to have like 5 or 15 backlinks pointing to your website from high-level website, you don't have any issues at all. You rank perfectly well. People will call you to buy your product. You understand? So it's not that expensive. Highest 100, 200,000, maybe in the next 3 or 4 months, and you start seeing visibility. But the secret of search engine optimization for e-commerce visibility is content strategy. So apart from the normal about us, the product you have, you need to have a blog. So on that blog section is where you keep investing in terms of content. So the more you give the search engines new content that is not copied from anywhere, your website must rank on Google. And if you copy any content from any website to put on your own website, in fact, you have caused a very big problem for yourself. Google is going to take you to 5th page of Google because it duplicates content. Thank you.
Thank you. So my final question is to Mr. Olariwaju. So there are so many logistics companies in Nigeria. However, there are issues with customer care, delays, even branding. What would you say is causing this issue? Are businesses not taking enough time to pay attention to the logistics companies they use, or the customer care, or even the riders that they use? You know, what would you say is the major issue with this? Can you hear us, Mr. Olariwaju? We can't hear you.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So for me, I would actually say this is based off the fact that people don't sample a lot of logistics company. They will just try 1 or 2 and they stop at it. And people don't really read about them. So when you read more, you'll be able to know the one that best fits your business. So I've been able to check through, and I've also seen that there are some logistics companies that would easily do your B2Cs for you very, very easily, and they are very fast. So it's important that we go on the website, search, you will find the best. And for the B2Bs, yes, there are very few that will actually do that on time as at when due. There are issues here and there. I know there are issues on the road. The roads are bad. The logistics businesses now are bleeding, so it's not easy. It's actually not easy, but there are still the good ones there. It is very important, as I said before, it is very important that you get a feedback from your customers about the drivers. It is very important. That is how you'll be able to pick who best fits your business. I think that is where you just need to start from, and from there it will go on smoothly. Sorry, I can't hear you. You're on mute.
Okay, sorry. Yes, so sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I just wanted to say thank you to our speakers. It would really, really be lovely for our attendees to try and connect with you. If you can drop the list of tools that have been mentioned in this webinar on the comment box. If you can also drop your social media handles so that they can connect with you afterwards. We were aiming for an hour session and we've surpassed that. We're almost going to 2 hours. So we're going to be rounding up right now. Thank you to Mr. Sonny, Mr. Olariwaju, Mr. Victor, Mr. Ezadiche, Dr. Obianuju, who has left because she had an appointment for 10:30. Thank you to Business Day. Thank you to all our partners. Thank you to all our attendees who stopped by who joined this webinar. There was just so much to unpack. I honestly, even 2 hours is not enough for this topic. There's just so much to cover, but we are very, very, very appreciative. So for the slides that some of the speakers shared, we would really, really appreciate if you can share with Business Day, and hopefully some of the attendees will be able to connect. So you can follow our speakers. I can see that our speakers are dropping their social media handles on the comments. On the comment box. So I can see Somi and Dr. Ju dropped hers, which is at violent Uju. So thank you so much once again to everybody. Once again, I also apologize for kicking off late and staying past the time. Business Day has shared an email. So Esther's email is there. So for all the slides, the emails will be sent to that slide. So if you're an attendee and you would like to have a copy of the slide, please send Esther an email. Thank you so much, Esther. Thank you to Esther and Linda from Business Day and the entire Business Day team. Esther, would you like to say anything? Okay. Esther, can you hear me? Okay, we can't seem to hear you if you're speaking. Linda, would you like to say something? Linda, can you hear us? Okay, seems to be, so I think maybe there might be a network glitch. Thank you so much. And we've come to the end of this webinar. Thank you very, very, very much again to all the speakers, all our attendees, those who've come in, those who've left. Thank you so much. I've had a fantastic time, and I hope you've also had a fantastic time. So please, let's connect with one another on social media. You know, there's so many social media platforms out there, and share more knowledge. Thank you. I will be ending this webinar right now. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Somi, go ahead.
Sorry, just one thing to say. What we're sharing, I think we can only share with hosts and panelists, not attendees. So I don't know if you want to copy and help us share the links with the attendees as well. That's just something I noticed now.
Okay. So I will put that up and maybe leave it on for 5 minutes before this can be the webinar can end, so that people can get that. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you very much. So I seem to be struggling here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.
So I think Business Day can do that. Business Day can share that information with everyone. Thank you.